Oh boy.
You're
All right, all right, all right, all right. What's going on, everybody? Friends of the Conscious Approach channel. JV Wins is here. Dogon SS is here as always. Thank you for tuning in to another video on the Conscious Approach channel on YouTube. We certainly appreciate it. Before we get started with this week's video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you can join the tribe. Hit that like button. Let us know what you think about the commentary in this or any other video that we publish to the channel. We certainly appreciate the support as we continue to rock and roll, pushing out this logical content each and every week. So, to all of our current subscribers, thank you, thank you, thank you. And to all future subscribers, thank you in advance. Now, with that out of the way, we'll go ahead and get started. And you had to know that we were going to get into this week.
oh man.
Um, this is right in line with what we do here on this channel. Dysfunctionality reigning supreme, baby. So Keke Palmer is getting, if you are living under a rock or otherwise just aren't aware, Keke Palmer is in the news over the course of the last couple of weeks because she wore a sheer see-through dress to an Usher show in Las Vegas. Usher has a Las Vegas residency currently. For anyone who does not know what that means, it means when you have a residency, it means that you basically have like a standing performance at a single site for an extended period of time. So, like Wayne Newton was probably one of the originators of a Las Vegas residency for the longest time. If you want to see Wayne Newton perform, you would just go to Las Vegas, and Wayne Newton would be performing at whatever hotel casino he performed out of. There have been other Vegas residencies in the past. I believe Mariah Carey had a residency, and on down and down. And so now Usher has had a residency for a while. And one of the things that Usher likes to do is uh, pick women out of the crowd and serenade them
Yeah.
with one of his more famous, or a couple of the more famous songs that he's had in the past. And how this relates to Keke Palmer is Keke Palmer was at one of Usher's shows recently, and Usher picked Keke Palmer out of the crowd and was singing to her and serenading her. And if that wasn't enough to get her baby's father, who's also her boyfriend, out of pocket, also what she was wearing got him out of pocket because she was wearing a sheer see-through dress where you could see plenty of ass.
Ah.
And so basically, the boyfriend went on to social media. He was talking about how he did not approve of the dress and did not appreciate it, viewed it as disrespect. And it has sparked this ongoing conversation around whether Keke Palmer was in the wrong for wearing what she was wearing and going to the show, and whether her seeming to be warm towards what Usher was doing to her is indicative of whether there are fractures in her relationship with her boyfriend or the father of her child. And so there's all kinds of interesting stuff going on and commentary around that situation. To add to that commentary, friend of the channel, Charlamagne, current one half of the Talking Heads on the Breakfast Club, weighed in on what he thought about this situation, and he believes that Usher himself, Usher Raymond IV, is to blame for causing relationship dysfunctionality whenever he chooses to pick these women out of a lineup during his show. He thinks that Usher does this on purpose. He thinks that Usher purposefully chooses women who are not single to serenade them. And he thinks that all Usher has to do to sidestep this kind of controversy or to cause these kinds of problems with the people involved is to just choose women in his show who are in attendance who are single. So I won't speak for Charlamagne. I'll let Charlamagne speak for himself. This article says Charlamagne the God labels Usher the villain in Keke Palmer drama. Charlamagne the God says that Usher is the bad guy in the recent drama regarding Keke Palmer's trip to Las Vegas to see the singer perform. The actress attended one of Usher's shows over the weekend while wearing a see-through dress. Her boyfriend, Darius Jackson, complained about her attire on social media afterward. Quote, the man walks around the residency scouting on a straight search and destroy mission, looking for women to find so he can pull them out of the crowd, serenade them, and destroy their household. end quote, Charlamagne said on his show Monday morning. So I won't. The rest of these are just quotes from what Charlamagne had to say, but we'll go ahead and just play this short video from what Charlamagne had to say, which was uploaded to the Shade Room's Instagram channel. So here we go with this.
The man walks around the residency, scouting on a straight search and destroy mission, looking for women to find so he can pull them out of the crowd, serenade them, and destroy their households. You know what Usher could do?
What?
All he got to do is say, "Where all the single ladies at?" And then the single ladies will scream, and he can go to the single ladies.
You know what?
He don't do that.
You know what?
We ain't seen him serenade a single lady yet.
You're right.
All Usher got to do is say where the single ladies at, and he could go serenade. That man purposely serenaded Keke Palmer. That man purposely serenaded Saweetie. No, she out here with YG now. Winnie Harlow had to sit on her man's lap.
That's right.
To protect herself from that goddamn menace, Usher Raymond the Fourth. Because I'm telling you right now, when me and my wife go see Usher, I dare Usher to try to come serenade my wife, because he's going to be serenading the both of us. I'm going to tell her grab the right hand, I'm going to grab the left hand, and we both going to be Usher's boo when he's singing my boo. You hear me?
That's going to be a little weird.
Yeah, he'll love that.
He ain't wrong about that.
Oh, excuse me. And then the article goes on to say Keke Palmer isn't the only celebrity that Usher has caused drama by serenading at his residency. He's also made headlines for singing to Kim Kardashian, Saweetie, and more. Boosie Badass even recently joked that Usher is on a Take Your Girl tour. So, Charlamagne says it is Usher's fault. Are you buying Charlamagne's explanation that this is all Usher's fault? Keke Palmer's drama is due to Usher. Usher is doing this on purpose.
No way. I'm not doing that. So, I mean, Charlamagne, he's got a show. He's got a morning show. He's got to carry, hours of airtime. And he's a low-key comedian. He's the comic relief of the Breakfast Club. So that was a nice little joke, It was a little truth to it, I suppose, but more or less, to me, I took it as comedic humor because it's still not on. It's not Usher. It's not on Usher. He's a performer. He's an entertainer, and it's part of his show. It's part of his act. Now, if there's a happily married woman there, and she's up to code, if Usher extends himself to carry on the show and she sees where this is going, she'll immediately go, hey, I have a situation and I don't know how my man's going to take this. So somehow, some way she'll just get out of there. Whether it's like the beginning of it or, I ain't know it's going to be like this. Let me get out of here. Or the initial, nah, I'm good. Either way, she declines all of this. She doesn't play it up like Keke Palmer did. And Keke was already there with bad intentions with her ass out. And here's the thing. The baby father didn't have a problem with Usher and his message. It was the outfit. And he was like, hey, you're a mom. Basically saying, hey, you're a role model. You got to stop. And whether Keke Palmer likes it or not, one of these days, because if it wasn't this situation, it was clearly going to be another one, she's going to see that her mom was out here just showing the world her whole body. Now, what does that do, for the child, psychology? So I didn't see anything wrong with the father saying, hey, now people can gripe whether or not, social media is the forum or not to do that. Man, people want to do stuff on social media. And the whole thing is that it wasn't that inflammatory. It wasn't that crazy, yet the whole world made it, took it out of context. So to tie it all in, I don't see anything wrong with what the baby father did. Charlamagne, I don't see anything wrong. Usher did. Usher's doing his job. And whether and that has nothing. So if basically, and I'll let you go. So basically, if I'm at some type of function where they bring out a dancer woman, and I'm here with my lady. Now, if I'm by myself, now I can be by myself or with my lady, whatever. Let's say that I'm out and about and my lady ain't there, and people are recording this, and I see some lady out here and she's busting it wide open for the crew, and I'm just at the event, but she wants to single me out. It's like, no way. This is very public. I'm not trying to get chewed out at home. I got all these things going on in my head. And so it's like, no, I'm not going to play that up because I don't want that argument. But so that's one thing for if she came over there and started popping and dancing on me and I'm like, oh, whoa, hey, nah, hey, I'm good. I should be in good graces. Or if she came up and I'm like, hey, no. But if I played any of that up like Keke did, I'm grabbing ones. I'm like, ooh, oh, hey. And my girl gonna chew me out. I'm dead. I might as well just drive into a ditch because my life is over. I'm not going home. So yeah, I think that this is just complete garbage. And Usher did his job, much like a stripper would be doing her job if I went to some venue. So how about you, sir? How do you feel about this? Do you feel like Charlamagne has a point here, or do you think he's just blowing smoke as usual?
Charlemagne's out of his mind. Well, let me give Charlamagne the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say that was just for comedic purposes.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe he was doing that to be funny, because there's no way that you can really hold Usher responsible for any of this.
No.
To use the classic Chris Rock joke talking about Siegfried and Roy and one of those dudes getting his face bit off by a tiger. Like, the tiger bit your face off and y'all want to get mad at the tiger as if to say the tiger went crazy. The tiger didn't go crazy. The tiger went tiger. Right. Tigers bite people and stuff. So when the tiger bites your face off, you're going to have to assess what were the circumstances that led to that tiger feeding into its own nature, going tiger and biting your face off. Usher does this. He's done this since when did the My Way album come out? 1997. Usher's been doing this. Like, right. Usher's been singing those songs, Nice and Slow, and all of these other songs, taking his shirt off, picking women out the crowd. This is what Usher does. Usher is going to go Usher, just like the tiger went tiger. So Usher is absolutely 100% not to blame for this. He is not absolved. And I completely disagree with Charlamagne's take on that, even though I do. Half of me thinks that he was joking around. And maybe that's me trying to be. I'm in a reasonable mood right now, so I'm not in a flamethrowing mood. I'm going to extend Charlamagne the courtesy and say that he was doing that for comedic purposes. This to me is all on Keke Palmer, and like you said, I agree 100%. That was going to be the first point that I made. Her boyfriend at no point addressed Usher when he expressed his displeasure over what took place. He talked about what she was wearing. He had an issue with what she had on. And Usher, well, maybe Usher did play a role in her decision to put that on. I don't know. But at least on the surface, Usher is irrelevant to her decision to wear that to that show. She could have put anything else on. She put that on, thus causing the maelstrom of controversy surrounding them in this particular situation, because he was uncomfortable with the fact that, for all intents and purposes, you're a kept woman, not kept from the standpoint that you're owned by anybody, man or otherwise, but kept from the standpoint that you're spoken for. And I guess in that guy's, in her boyfriend's mind, Darius, women who are in committed situations, kept women who are sort of kept from the standpoint as you have a man to whom he has spoken for you. Wearing that kind of an outfit in public isn't necessarily ideal. That's that guy's preferences. And so he sticks to those principles and those preferences. And when those principles and preferences are violated, he's going to speak out on that. Now, whether you agree or disagree that he did it publicly on social media, I'm also with you there. That's what people do in 2023. People don't care about keeping things in house anymore. They just gonna go on to social because we're all just narcissists nowadays who just need for things to be public. Everything needs to be in public domain. But he didn't address Usher. He addressed what she was wearing. So the question is, and I don't know what goes on in their relationship or household. I don't know what they've discussed or lack thereof. And perhaps I'll get into that when I talk again. But the issue was with what she had on, and her ass was out. And so when you combine what she had on with how receptive and warm she seemed to be towards what Usher was doing at the time, you can understand why any guy would feel a bit uncomfortable about that. To me, the fact that he expressed his discomfort shows me what kind of code he lives by, and I can respect that. Now, a lot of you new age people out there in the world who thinks that everybody should just do whatever they want, wear whatever they want, no matter what the circumstances are, of course you're going to have a problem with him chastising her over this. But people such as myself who still kind of hold on to the idea that the sanctity of relationships has to mean something is going to agree with him in spirit that I wouldn't necessarily want my girl showing her entire body via a sheer see-through dress without me going to an Usher show. But I think that's where the boyfriend was coming from with that particular thing. We can go back and forth talking about women and what they should wear and sheer dresses and how fair game that is when you with somebody. That's a conversation we can have. That's fine. But that's what he was feeling some type of way about, not with Usher. And so in that way, I would say Charlamagne's out of his mind for suggesting that this is Usher's fault. But I do think that he was being funny and trying to be comedic in that moment.
Well, I mean, Charlamagne is, you got to understand who his audience is as well. I mean, it's a liberal audience, and I'm sure there's a lot of female listeners. And, you know, one thing that he's going to do is move the goalposts in this situation. And much like how women that don't take accountability for anything just keep moving the goalposts for everything. And if you call them out on some shit, then they just move the goalposts and go, I was actually talking about this over here. Well, what about this? And you're never going to win with goalpost movers. And so so what are you going to do? So for Charlamagne to sit here and just feed into the blame everybody but Keke situation, that's all he did. He just played right into that. And from searching stuff on this on the internet, not searching, it's just stuff coming up, and me just seeing people talking about that situation, you know, it's a real big split. It's like a real 50-50 thing out there, because there's a lot of women that are caping for this behavior, and then there's women that aren't, you know. And I think that there's really a situation, because everybody like to talk about good men versus bad boys. We're gonna have to start having conversations about, you know, the traditional versus modern, or good girls versus bad ones, because you know, there's women out there that goes, nah, I mean, there's a time and a place for types of garments like that. That is just bedroom only. So nobody said you can't be sexy like that. Oh, I want to be sexy. Okay, well, be sexy for your man at the house. You know, I want to wear something nice. Okay, well, wear something nice for your man at the house. You know, that's not for the world to see. So, but right now, how women have been programmed, because all women have been given this programming. Not all of them pick it up. And they've been programmed to be sluts. And that's what the whole slut shaming thing is. That's what the whole sexual liberation thing is. You know, it's a difference, man. But women, I told you before, women have their vagina is a black card. They can swipe that anywhere. And, you know, so sexually, you know, what are you really saying? Saying you want to liberate, basically you just want to, you already have an endless budget to spend, so you just basically going to just have sex with everybody you want to, and because you can. But by doing that, like, what are you really doing? And so there's power in not doing something that you can do all the time. And so, oh, I can have sex as okay, you can do that, but there's power and reserve in that. And the crazy part about it is they give it away. They give away their power, and then now they're trying to figure out why they're depressed. Now they're trying to figure out why they're not happy, why they're suffering from so many, insecurity issues. And that's another thing. And they like to say that the guy here is being insecure. She's insecure. Only an insecure woman would come out looking like this. We don't live in a society where people walk around butt naked. If that wasn't, she wouldn't be breaking any rules.
We will be soon.
I know, right? That's what they're trying to go for. Everybody just go out the house nude. They're gonna call it a translucent clothing. People gonna walk out with shower curtains on, basically. I'm right there. But if this was a society where everybody walked around butt naked, okay, she's not breaking no rules. But we live in a society, whether we like it or not, that has some constructs to it. That stuff like this people don't know how to behave when they see people walk around naked. People are still too hypersexual for somebody to be walking around naked all the time. And so for this type of behavior, no, this is not appropriate, I don't think, for a woman out there that's a mother. But then there's this thing out there where the women again saying, well, just because you're a mom doesn't mean, and it's like, hey, look, you can't tell people to be responsible now. And people are just dismissing how important it is or how much responsibility is required to be a parent. Hey man, it's over. You have the kid, it's over. You're done. Playing's over. You have literally transferred all of your playing to your child. Your child gets all the play that they play. You got to be responsible for them. And they're always watching. So unless you want your daughter to be out here on stage looking like this, or, whatever, or you want your son to have a woman to be parading around stage like that, then so be it. But people do these things where they don't want their child to grow up being that way, but they still carrying on with this goofy behavior, like the kids ain't watching. So, yeah, man, I mean, teach their own. There's so many women out there that avoid, accountability. They want to do everything they want to do, which is just mind blowing. You can't. And you ask a woman, and it's a dangerous question, but you can ask a woman, hey, can you have it all? And they'll all tell you, yeah. They think they can have everything on their wish list. It's not possible. But that's the delusion that's going on, unfortunately, en masse. Not all women, but en masse.
Yeah, it's social anarchy. This fits into social anarchy. So
Yeah.
It's people still acknowledge that there is an inherent responsibility that comes along with the life changes associated with becoming a parent, but they just want to redefine what that means. So we just want to, like I'm telling you, bro, we just literally want to redefine everything. So before it was generally understood, given where you are in life, probably not the most becoming thing for you to bear all of your assets on a public stage like that. But we want to rewrite everything. So now what we want to say is, yes, you can be a mother. Yes, you can be whatever. Yes, you can be a mother. Yes, you can be, and people probably gonna call me out for body shaming, but whatever. Yes, you can be overweight. You can be overweight. You can be a mother. You can be all of these things, and that should not prohibit you from being as sexy as you want to be. And as fashion trends go in 2023, sheer dresses, see-through dresses, that is the move now. And there is no longer this veil or this things being left to the imagination. I wonder what she looks like with no clothes on, because they're showing us all what it looks like now. So there's no more imagination. I don't have to picture Sierra naked anymore. I now know what Sierra looks like naked. She showed me when she wore that dress to whatever event that was, that people kind of called her out on that for. And this is where dresses first became a thing, but it started with the sheer covering, but then underneath it there would be like a skirt type thing. So you saw leg, but you didn't see cheeks and vagina creases. Now it's just completely gone away, and now you see vagina crease, you see cheeks, you see everything. They're not even wearing bras, so you see the breast, you see it all. Like
Yeah.
there's an article right now going around, that new Barbie movie. They had a premiere, and one of the people who was at the premiere was that star that she's I think she's like a pop star. She does music, Dua Lipa, wearing a complete sheer dress, and you saw she's not wearing a bra, so you see nipple. She ain't even got pasties on. It's just nipples. It's just breasts and nipples, and then the underwear underneath. So I know what she looks like naked. I know what she.
Who this
looks
is? What is that again? Let me let me jot this down real quick.
Dua Lipa, that's her name. Dualipa. She makes music. She's for the new people, the Gen Zers and stuff. And like, yeah, so she's completely naked as far as I'm concerned. I mean, yeah, she's wearing the sheer covering, but I don't have to imagine. She looks good, so to each their own. But
Yeah.
I no longer have to imagine what you look like naked now because you are telling me. Previously, that used to be something that we kind of left up to the imagination. Now we no longer care about that. To your point about moving the goalposts, not only do we move the goalposts when it comes to the conversation around this, but we move the goalposts when it comes to the actual behavior. So I firmly believe that in the not too distant future, we're going to get rid of the sheer period. And a lot of women are just going to be showing up to public events wearing thong panties and bras with nothing covering it. With nothing covering it. That's what I see happening, because how much more can you advance beyond this point? They're already not wearing anything. So there isn't much further that you can go. So that's the next logical step as far as I can tell. So it's just, I call it social anarchy. We talk about it all the time when we talk about conversations around gender or race or any of these other hot button issues that we kind of bring up on this channel and broach them. This is no different when it comes to forms of dress, sex appeal, sexiness. What are all of these things and what do they mean? Is there we want to have a new conversation where we reinvent the wheel and completely rewrite what it means to be appropriate within these contexts. And it is what it is. So we're here with this stuff. Like you tell me oftentimes, this is where we are. There's no fighting it. You can't go back. So all we can do is continue to discuss it, because like it or not, when you dress like that, people are going to have things to say. Just like when Lizzo walks out with her see-through stuff on, given her body type, people are going to have things to say. So it is what it is. The only thing that I will say, because this brings us back to why Keke Palmer is sort of getting criticized by some people for dressing like that, and because you mentioned that it's kind of 50-50 split, that's kind of what I'm seeing as well. Like, we don't know the parameters of her relationship with this guy.
Yeah.
We do not know what they've established, what they've discussed. We do not know. For all any of us know, they talked about this. And so she could very well have a clear understanding he probably will not like me dressing like this. And so for her to have dressed like that anyway, knowing that in doing so she's violating his expectations, therein lies the issue. And therein lies the problem that you can see with him expressing his displeasure with her dressing this way. Now, if they have not defined those terms and they haven't talked about that, and so they, there's this nebulous gray area where they haven't really discussed, how each of them feels about certain things pertaining to stuff like this, and then she went out and dressed like that anyway, bro, you got to just eat that one, because you ain't tell her what she can and cannot do, or you didn't necessarily suggest to her, I would prefer it if we did things this way when it came to our respective, behaviors publicly. So she's going to do what she does. She's a celebrity chick in Hollywood. These people are conformists. They follow trends. And all of these other women, when they go out in places publicly, they're wearing the see-through stuff too. So she's going to do it because she sees the attention that those other celebrity chicks get. She wants that attention too, whether she's in a relationship with you or not, bro. So if you have not clearly defined these terms with her and she goes out dressing this way, then that's on you. And it is at that point a bit sort of low to air that out, to air that grievance out publicly, because you didn't define the term with her. You got to bring her back in house and be like, hey, listen, I know we didn't talk about this previously. I see you went and did this. It is what it is. Now we're going to sit down and have a conversation about this. And you let the chips fall where they may. Now, if there are clearly defined terms and she went and dressed like that anyway, there's no excuse for this. And there's no excuse for her doing this. And so, for any of the women or any of these males out here who cape for women in these circumstances, defending this, trying to suggest that no woman should be under a man's boot or under his thumb because she should be able to dress like that. Why do you care if you holding it down? Why does it matter? What, you insecure? You know, those buzzwords that they like to throw out there to shame men for simply having principles. If they have these terms clearly defined and she went and did it anyway, thus violating his expectations, then she's well within the right to get criticized for that. And he's well within the right to do what he did when he was like, hey, why are you dressed like that? We have a family unit and we have a public image that we need to maintain. But I get it, social anarchy. And people think that you should just be able to dress however you want, no matter how things are. And it is what it is because we just want everything to be fair game, no holes barred. So I think for everybody who does not understand or know what is going on within their own household or within their own family unit, to immediately leap to her defense, you don't know what they've talked about. So if they have those clearly defined terms and she still did that, you kind of don't have a leg to stand on when it comes to your defense of her. But at the same time, since we don't know what those parameters are, nor should we, because it shouldn't be common knowledge, that's their own private relationship, then we also shouldn't necessarily say he's in the wrong for doing what he did. We simply don't know. So everybody at this point should just have a neutral stance as far as I'm concerned. So, Charlamagne can go out there and be funny guy, talking about how he thinks that, it's Usher's fault. That's just for shits and giggles. That's all jokes as far as I can tell. But the overarching conversation about what she should or should not have done and what he should or should not have done or said, that's all hearsay because we don't know what they've discussed. I hope for his sake that is something that he kind of said to her and that she just simply violated it, because otherwise he just is getting dunked on simply to the way, Sierra dunks on Russell Wilson.
Yeah. And, people going to do what they do though. And this social anarchy thing is a real thing. And well, it's got wheels on it. It's already snowballed. It's going down the hill. It's an avalanche. It's not stopping. And so at this point, how can you live in a world where people are choosing to live like Keke Palmer? And if you're not for this, how do you navigate those waters? And so the way that I look at it is that when we're dealing with these types of situations, it ties into a point I had made a few videos ago about devaluing the vagina. Now, if a woman walks outside wearing something like this, devaluing it looks like, oh, okay. Wow, she chose to wear that. Okay. And go about your business. Now, there's going to be some people out there that are real scoundrels and they're going to holler. But let that do its natural selection. But you, the person with common sense, can't even feed into that because it's literally there to distract you and get you off your path. And these women out here, these sirens that go around out here trying to seduce men with their sexual stuff, you got to let them go. And it's a lot of them right now. And so when they're begging for that kind of attention, bro, when you get with her, she's still going to want that. She can still love you. She's still being faithful to you, but she got to run out the house to go show people. That's not going nowhere. So if that's a thing that you don't feel like you can tolerate, don't even invite that into your world if you see her acting like that from jump, because it's not going anywhere. And one thing about Keke Palmer, I'm pretty sure she showed signs of this type of behavior when bro was dealing with her before she even had a kid.
That's probably what got them together. That may have been what got them together in the first place.
Exactly. So, so this is chickens coming home to roost for bruh. Hey, you embarrassing my name. Hey, bro, you should have known she was like that when she was jumping off first quarter like that. You ain't even, bro. And people ladies were trying to get at him by him like, oh, he's just trying to leech on. He's trying to ride her coattails. She the one that's established. She ain't nobody in it. Yeah, bro, she dealing with you. She's Keke Palmer. She can be dealing with something else. And she thinks that way. And so she was just playing around with you. And so for bruh, he had to be more cognizant of what was going on in his situation. So it's hard to feel sorry for bro. But I was saying all that stuff, the devaluing stuff is because these women this is their only means of control and manipulation. And once you devalue that, then you win. Either they're going to be repulsed by you and run away, which you win, or their powers are rendered useless, and then you can navigate who you're really dealing with instead of them always throwing box at you, or showing body parts because, oh man, her ass is so fat. I ain't never had ass this big.
Yeah.
And she's gonna remind you that every day. And so, but if you devalue that, who cares how fat her ass is? Who is she as a person? And so men have to really get into that pocket. It's not going to be all because we got too many OnlyFans subscribers out there. But I'm talking about the people out there that's like, hey man, what do I do? Hey bro, that's how you avoid. They're telling you when they're in the grocery store dressed like that. Oh, god damn, man. Titties popping out in the grocery store, avoid. Period. Because you're going to see that some remnants of that behavior somewhere down the line. And, we'll get into the Jonah Hill thing, but it's all tied into, character and behavior and knowing your personnel before you start to roll around. And then if you know that you rolling around with something that's problematic and then the problems come, then that's one of those things where, I got to eat that. Like you said, I got to take that because I know goddamn well what I was doing when I was rolling around with this crazy girl in the first place. Now look at what she's doing when we got a kid. Now she that's what she wants. Yes. Pay the price.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, fellas. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. It's a part of their nature. And I think you just have to understand that you're not going to be able to change that. I don't think any man on this earth has the power to change the nature of a woman, especially today when they are so empowered to do whatever they want. Because their feeds tell them to do whatever they want. The state tells them to do whatever they want. They have so many indicators out here telling them do whatever you want that there's nothing that you can do to offset that other than to have good judgment and avoid it. And I agree completely. Not pedestalizing vagina is the way to go for any man out here, even successful men. Stop putting vagina on a pedestal. That is the first path to ruination. Because they all have them, and God did not stop making one vagina when he made one particular woman. They all have one. So stop looking at it as this, holy grail that you just can't live without, because bro, you're going to wake up, you're going to go out, and there's going to be 50 more girls that you see who have one. So it is what it is, man. This see-through dress stuff is getting people caught up, man. Like, I remember I told you the story about dude I seen when I was living in Tallahassee. He was out and he was with a girl who was wearing the same type outfit, and he looked visibly uncomfortable. He couldn't even enjoy himself because he was too preoccupied with whether she was checking for other dudes who were checking for her and whether there were other dudes who were checking for her, period. And why do you want to live with that kind of anguish and stress? Like, it's not worth it. And unless you're a degenerate, you're above that, bro. So yeah, we got to stop putting this vagina on a pedestal. I don't care how good she looks. She can be Salma Hayek in her prime. Stop thinking that she is this one of one because she has that thing. Stop doing it. Because when you're able to do that, then you can relinquish yourself from the hold that it has over you, and it will be amazing what things that you can accomplish. So get it out. Just get it out. Stop thinking that it's the end all to be all. Seriously.
Or if you're a dude that is going to sign up for that, then you're going to have to devalue it in the sense of you don't care if other dudes look.
Yeah.
So you know you gotta do the Adam 22 route and not give it and not give a damn if other dudes is goggling your woman, eye humping your woman, and you should just not care.
Or in the case of Adam 22, actually literally humping your woman.
Like what is up with that? These are your heroes, Adam 22. Guy who tattooed Bart Simpson on his face.
Oh. No rules, man. I'm telling you, the anarchy is real. It's real. But yeah, I think Charlamagne was just being a funny guy. Yeah, otherwise, man, let the social anarchy continue.
Sheesh.
Jonah Hill, man. Speaking of men with principles and standards, Jonah Hill is being called a misogynist because his ex, the woman that he was previously in a relationship, has aired out dirty laundry on social media. She is airing out text messages that they exchanged between one another, in which Jonah Hill was essentially trying to express to her, these are the boundaries that I like to live within when it comes to my romantic partners. And I'm gonna lay it all out for you. And so now what this woman whose name is Sarah Brady, she's a professional surfer, apparently. She's trying to turn the tables on this situation and air these text messages out publicly to suggest that Jonah Hill is a misogynist and a controlling man. Now, the good news with this situation, from what I am seeing, is that it appears to me, and you can speak to whether you're seeing anything different. This appears to me to be more of a 60-40 type thing, where 60% of the people are saying he ain't do nothing wrong. And then you got 40% of the people who are defending her and calling him a misogynist. I'm going to say that most of these people just hate men in general and are always going to just suggest that men in any situation are woman-hating abusers and misogynists. But I'll go ahead and share this article so that we can get a little bit of context. But Jonah Hill is being accused of being emotionally abusive. And the proof of this is with text messages that this woman is sharing to express how abusive that he was being. So this says, Sarah Brady accuses Jonah Hill of emotionally abusive behavior and shares their texts. Jonah Hill's ex, Sarah Brady, shared screenshots of several of their texts to one another on social media over the weekend, alleging that the actor was emotionally abusive during their relationship. The two went public as partners in 2021. Quote, this is a warning to all girls. If your partner is talking to you like this, make an exit plan. Call me if you need an ear. Brady captioned the screenshots. In the post, Hill asked her to take down any photos from Instagram of her surfing with her ass in a thong. From there, Hill labeled it a good start while adding, but it's not my place to teach you. I've made my boundaries clear. You refuse to let go of some of them, and you've made that clear, and I hope it makes you happy. Hill also threatened to break up with her if she wants to surf, quote, with men, to model, to post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, and to post sexual pictures. Quote, I too struggle with mental health, but I do not use it to control people like he did to me. Brady wrote in a follow-up post. It's been a year of healing and growth with the help of loved ones and doctors to get back to living my life without guilt, shame, and self-judgment for things as small as surfing in a swimsuit rather than a more conservative wetsuit. And I'm sure there is still much more healing from this abuse ahead of me. So she's playing the victim card. Now, what I want to do, because this article, and that article, by the way, is from Hunt New Hip Hop, it's sort of being biased against Jonah Hill. It's just the way that the article is written is suggesting that Sarah Brady's like in the right and he was undoubtedly being an abuser. So that gives you all the context for what's going on there. So what I'll do here is we all are going to have a little bit of we're just going to, read these things and you can be the judge for yourself to determine just how abusive this guy was being with this. So this is the text here. This is a screen caption from Twitter, and I'm gonna read this verbatim. This is from Jonah. So this is the Jonah Hill text. It says, plain and simple, if you need surfing with men, boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men, to model, to post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, to post sexual pictures, friendships with men who are in unstable places, and from your wild recent past, beyond getting a lunch or coffee or something respectful, I am not the right partner for you. If these things bring you to a place of happiness, I support it and there will be no hard feelings. These are my boundaries for romantic partnership. My boundaries with you based on the ways these actions have hurt or trust. So that's the exact text right there. Those are the exact text messages for anyone who needs that context there. So there you go. So thankfully, like I said, people who are in troll world are saying he ain't really do nothing wrong, but then there's also a lot of people saying he messed up. The media, for sure, is definitely suggesting that he messed up. Articles that I saw, whether it's on Yahoo, this article on Hot New Hip Hop, or these weirdo people on the internet, are definitely saying that he's being an abuser. And you can even see the little quote there underneath that screen caption from whoever posted this on Twitter that says, see the misuse of the term boundaries, suggesting that Jonah Hill is misusing the term boundaries and that he's actually being, you know, bad, man, evil, bad man, abuser man. So, what do you think about this whole situation? This woman, Sarah Brady, you can look her up on her Instagram. She's a pro surfer. To her credit, she doesn't have a ton of photo. It's not like her profile looks like it's Brittany Renner or, Aaliyah Petty or, her profile doesn't look like she's trying to be an Instagram model, but she has a lot of pictures on her Instagram in a bathing suit and on the beach and surfing and stuff. So, what do you think about this situation? You think that Jonah Hill is a misogynist for giving her terms and laying out what his boundaries are?
No, I don't. But given today's social climate, that was toxic, and he was displaying toxic masculinity by setting boundaries. So, if we're following today's modern terms, because they keep changing the definition of things, so this is modern misogyny. And so she has a point in her own little weird world, but in the real world, the world that I live in, all right, Jonah Hill did nothing wrong here, and she released quite a bit of messages. They had a good little back and forth there, and every message that he had was respectful, clear, concise, and basically, the ball's in your court, but you choose to not advance, so we should just leave. I didn't hear anything abusive in any of his words. Never called her out of her name. He was just on the up and up and just letting her know, hey, if you trying to ride with me, these are my criteria. Like, what's up? And so I don't see anything wrong with that at all. But when you're dealing with people nowadays, man, everybody's on narcissistic mode right now. And what we're witnessing right now in mass is a whole bunch of underdeveloped people. And everybody's screaming mental health. And I'm not against mental health. Okay, whatever that is. I know what mental health is, but people use mental health as just a buzzword. And I know what it is to be mentally healthy. But these people are just mental health, mental health. And it's like, well, why is everybody so depressed? Why is everybody so this? Why is everybody so that? And it's because they don't have anything to really like live for. And so right now, society has groomed and cultivated a society of people who are just self-absorbed, and they don't have any form of social awareness, as you always speak of. And because they lack the social awareness, they are unaware of the chaos that they're causing in the world. And they feel like every time that somebody goes, hey, that's a little bit chaotic, and they try to course correct it, they take that as oppression and somebody trying to attack them. And it's like, nah, bro, like you shouldn't put a fork in the outlet. I'm trying to help you out. And but this and it's gotten to a point where it's like a callus. It's like skin growing on top of skin. It's one sociopathic, crazy type of behavior that creates another, and then it's just layers of it. And then when people start to get on their TikToks, get on their whatever's their YouTubes, they start adopting these crazy ways of thinking that just justifies you being an narc. Right now, they're imposing their will on you, girl. Hey, no, he can't tell you what to wear. Hey, didn't you already know she was already a surfer before they got together? Well, she can't wear swimsuits now. Hey, there's a lot of guys who surf. Why can't she surf with her surfer guy friends? And it's like, look, man, look, just like in the last topic where I say, hey, when you decide to have a baby, all right, it's over. Fun's over. Now, when I say fun's over, don't dig it, because I'll say that to a girl I'm talking to, and she getting buzzword crazy. What you mean fun's over? What you mean I say can't have fun? No, you can have fun. Your fun just changed. Now your fun is watching your kids smile while y'all at Chuck E. Cheese, not while you out there thotting with your friends out there single night, in some rooftop bar. Those rooftop bar days are over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they're done. So same thing goes with a relationship. You say you want marriage. You can't go do all that stuff that you did when you were a young surfer girl. There's adult women wives that know not to hang out with the surfer bros.
Exactly.
So he's like, hey, stop hanging out with the surfer bros, because those dudes ain't about nothing. It was another message that he sent where he was talking about, hey, man, these people are losers. These people you're choosing to hang around are losers. They're not going where we're going. You got to drop that foolishness. And if it's outside of the context of just regular hanging out, coffee and whatever, something respectable, don't go doing that. It was very tangible, realistic types of things. And if you're dealing with a dude like Jonah Hill, who's getting all these checks from these movies and residuals, girl, your surfer life, he shitting all over that. So if you're trying to get with this dude, you might want to get with that. There's a reasonable request, but she has to have her cake and eat it too, as all narcs are doing right now. So this was oppressing her. Yeah, it's the wildest shit ever. So this is a perfect example of a dude who's a good dude, at least on paper from what we're reading, because he was sending these in private when he didn't have to be so corporate, and he was still sending these with a respectful tone, and she still was calling him a crazy man. So for the good dudes out there who are trying to talk to these women and they do this crazy stuff, hey, they letting you know your personnel. And as cool as they are in pockets, they showed you exactly who this woman showed her hand a long time ago. And as he said, hey, you clearly chose the life. So have fun. And so when they let you know, bro, let them go. So how about you, bro? Do you think Mr. Misogyny Hill here is being a great misogynist, or do you think that the media is just trying to cancel another human being?
I think situations like this is what informs me of the fact that most forms of media nowadays, whether it's old media, radio, newspapers, TV, or new media, YouTube, podcasts, whatever, social media, is hyper liberal. Like, because why is it that in these various media, factions, he's unequivocally being branded a misogynist and an abuser, even if you don't agree, even like someone, because by the way, what you just put out there, what you just said, that was extremely well said. And even if someone watching this video heard you coherently lay all of that out, and they disagree with every word that you said, even if they disagree with you, they should not leap to the conclusion that it's abusive or that's abusive behavior. It's just a difference in worldview. So fine, you don't want to kick it the way Jonah Hill wants to kick it. then go ahead and part ways. It's not abusive if he clearly says, if doing these things makes you happy, continue to do it. I'm not here to stop you. I just can't be a part of that.
Right.
That's not abusive, but it's being turned into another referendum on the patriarchy and abusiveness on the part of men. It's ridiculous. So I think it's shame on this goofy system that we got going on with this media stuff, where we automatically defend I call women a protected species amongst other protected species nowadays. Women are just protected. They can set the world on fire and watch it burn, Joker style, like in The Dark Knight. And these people will still come and defend these chicks. It's crazy to me. I don't understand it. I don't see, and I saw those other ones too. I just didn't want to go through every text because I didn't want to make the video super long. But I'm not seeing where he's being abusive. He's saying these are the principles. This is the code that I live by.
All right.
If we don't agree on that or see eye to eye, okay, but we can't be in a relationship if we don't see eye to eye to that. You know what this is indicative of? When a woman just can't understand a man who doesn't live. Women who don't understand or cannot comprehend men who live by codes, and so there's a fissure there because they just don't understand it. That's indicative of a woman who doesn't have a code to live by.
Mm-hmm.
So the notion of living by a code is incomprehensible to a person like that. Mm-hmm. She doesn't understand what that even means. Principles, codes, integrity. What do you mean? We just out here living empty vessel style. That's what it is. I really hope that he comes out of this strengthened and that his career continues. Quite frankly, that's how I feel. But this situation overall reminds me, and this is where I'm gonna come back on Jonah here. This situation reminds me of conversations that I used to have with some of my buddies back when I used to live in Tallahassee, because we go out and we kind of observe men and women interactions and see what was going on. And, we were always trying to crack this code, the enigma of how to get a woman to do what it is that you want her to do or respond in the way that you want her to respond, how to get her to act in a design manner. Similar to the way I think it was Huey Newton who used to say that, act in a design manner. And it's like, how do I get her to text me back when I want her to? How do I get her to pick up the phone when I call? How do I get her to act in a design manner? And I used to tell these guys, hey man, listen, you're going through all of this mental gymnastics trying to crack this Da Vinci Code. Like, if you're going through all of this trying to crack the code, that should let you know that it's not something that you should be trying to crack in the first place.
Agreed.
The moment that it starts to feel like work is the moment that you should recuse yourself from the situation. Mutual interest is something that you should not have to beg for. You're not necessarily asking a woman to take her clothes off the first time y'all hang out, to initiate conversation with you every second of the day, to jump your bones right from the second that she meets you. You're not asking for that. What you're asking for is mutual interest. Hey, if I initiate conversation with you, you should initiate conversation with me at least as much. At least it should at least be in equal parts in this. If I call you, then you should call me. If I am the one who is initiating conversation first in the new day, you should also initiate conversation with me first at some point. That's mutual interest. No man wants to deal with a woman who's indifferent or apathetic. Mutual interest is a baseline requirement. The moment that you don't get mutual interest is the moment that you should go the other way, because it's indicative of her apathy. And it starts to feel like work. Now you're going through mental gymnastics. How do I get her to do this? How do I get her to text me back? How do I get her to call me back? You're going through all of this mental anguish when you should just quit dealing with her and move on to the next opportunity to deal with a woman who has mutual interest. Stop. When it feels like work, that's when you need to stop. Now, the reason why I bring that up in reference to Jonah Hill, and this relates to the previous conversation that we had about Keke Palmer. There were probably signs in the beginning that this woman ideologically was not aligned with you when it comes to what your boundaries are. But instead of listening to the little voice in your head that was telling you this might not necessarily be an advantageous situation for me because she's on some other stuff, you tried to figure out different mechanisms to make her act in a designed manner. So what do? You text her your boundaries and your preferences and your standards in the hopes that you will get her to be convinced to act in your designed manner. She's not going to change her stripes, bro. So really what you should have did was understand right from the beginning, this ain't going to stop. She's still going to want to go surfing with her surfer dudes. She's still going to want to party with her surfer dudes. She's still going to want to do all of this stuff that make you uncomfortable, that make you apprehensive. A lot of that stuff isn't going to stop. So instead of pedestalizing her because you put the vagina up here on this thing and you want to try and try and try and try, and I got to keep trying. I got to keep trying. I got to make her act in a designed manner by laying out my terms of condition. And it ended up not necessarily blowing up on you, because I don't think that this is coming back necessarily to harm Jonah in any kind of way, either personally or professionally, or at least I hope it doesn't. But you ended up investing time and emotional capital in this situation, and it didn't work out to your benefit, because you see y'all ended up going your separate ways, and now she's trying to drag you publicly as an abuser. So you should have just understood this is where this is. Much like the guys trying to convince these chicks to act in a designed manner by trying to figure out a different way to make them respond to you how you want them to communicate with you how you want them to show you the kind of attention the way you want them to. Him laying those terms out to her was him trying to make her acquiesce to whatever his boundaries are, because he was doing mental gymnastics trying to figure out a way to make it work. And it was doomed from the start. It wasn't going to happen. When you get with the chick and it fits and it works and you guys are ideologically aligned, i.e., you don't have to tell her not to wear a sheer dress, because you know when she's with me, she's not the type of chick who's going to entertain the notion of wearing a see-through dress. So I don't even have to say, don't wear a see-through dress. And I subsequently don't have to deal with the fallout from that and having to try to understand and come to an understanding with her as to why she needs to wear the see-through dress when she knows I don't want her to. No, just be with the girl who's not going to feel the need to wear a see-through dress like that in the first place. So it's like you're trying to get her to do what you want her to do. And when you're laying these terms out and when you're setting your boundaries, reasonable as they may be, because I think that they are reasonable in and of themselves, it's still becoming work in a way that, in my opinion, is unreasonable. And when it starts to feel like work, it's an indication that it's not worth that level of investment. So I think Jonah Hill should have went the other way. But Jonah Hill is a human man, and he, much like the rest of us, I've done this in the past, and I'm not perfect. I try every day to not do this, but I might slip up at some point in the future and put pussy on a pedestal. I might. I don't intend to. I don't want to. I understand the importance of not doing that, but that may happen to me despite how much I know that it's not a wise behavior to adhere to. And Jonah Hill is a human man, and in that moment, he was putting that thing up there. He was valuing it within the context that you suggest he should have devalued it. And in valuing it, here he goes with the mental gymnastics. Long text messages. Here's my boundaries and terms. Please don't do this. Please do that. If you cannot not do this, then it means we can't be together. Everything he did was reasonable, and yet he's still dealing with this public fallout. So yeah, this definitely correlates to the first story. Guys got to stop doing this stuff. And so as much in the right that I think he is, because I think in a vacuum, his boundaries are completely reasonable. And how dare we sit here and shame a guy for having boundaries? This is ridiculous. It still is a cautionary tale for how to approach these situations with the right mindset in the beginning.
And so who's the abuser here? The person that sets a boundary, or the person that tries to fuck over the person's their boundaries and just not follow them. So the person that says, hey, this, these are my boundaries, this is acceptable, this is abuse, and they just go, well, I don't care about you, what you think is acceptable. I want to do what I want to do, which is abuse. So she's the abuser. If he allowed this to go on, he would have been the person getting abused here. So in this context, she's not in the right. She's in my opinion, she's in the wrong. But here's this thing that goes on with women is they have this, not all, but the ones that want to get bent out of shape. I gotta say that for YouTube policy.
Disclaimer, you got to throw the disclaimer out there. Not all,
And so when these women have this thing of where they have to sacrifice their life, that's such a buzz thing for them, because I guess previous generations of women never could really do what they actually always wanted to do. And they always had to sacrifice their life for their husband and their family. So these women say, hey, I don't want to sacrifice my life. I don't want to be a bored stay-at-home woman. So I'm not going to give up my dreams. So this girl here is playing he tried to take away my surfer girl card, y'all. And then so most of the women, a lot of the women that was defending her was saying that how didn't he already know she was a surfer? This comes with the territory where she's not going to wear a bathing suit. Like, is this guy being serious? Or she's not going to be out there surfing with guys? Like, there's guys out there surfing. Like, what's the big deal? And so that's the whole thing of he's trying to tear down her dreams, y'all. He's being a pig. And it's like, no, he's not. He's just, if you're going to go out there, there's respectable clothes. Don't go out there with a thong. Don't go out there with your ass out. That's not going to help you swim better. That's not going to help you surf better. So why you showing everybody your cheeks? Ain't like she got none anyway, but why you showing everybody your cheeks? So was that misogynistic, ladies? Let me know in the comment section. God damn it. I'm just joking. But still, even then, so this whole situation where, she played that card of he trying to tear down my dreams, y'all. And then, so here's that part in women that naturally get triggered where they go, hey, no, girl, no, you live your dream. And if he's trying to call these boundaries, just leave him, girl. He a pig. Okay, fine. So go do this with your surfer bros. All right, go do this with your surfer bros who couldn't nearly articulate themselves as good as he did, because only person that can speak like that is somebody that's in touch with their feelings, self-reflective, and conscientious of the next person. And he was doing all of those things, being very, very good with his words to the point where you can't even get mad at this. But yet and still, she still want to, cry wolf. So let her have her surfer bros. Let her do whatever she want. But this is over a year later, because she didn't have already been out there with the surfer bros. Jonah Hill, he just dropped the jit not too long ago. So this is like some Mariah Mills stuff where she's scorned and pissed that she's missing out on the back. Girl, this your fault. You blew this. And there's girls out there who all the time lose the good guy. All the time. And then the good guy moves on, gets married or has kid. The previous girl, the ex, is just pissed off. This is classic situations here. This is just played out with celebrities that everybody want to know their business. But this is typical, and I don't know if he's really a good guy, but hell, reading those messages, he ain't no jerk to me.
There was nothing unreasonable about those boundaries, is the point.
No.
Whether he's a good guy or not, there was nothing unreasonable about that.
No. Yeah, so for what we're looking at hand, this bit of evidence here suggests that he was being as cordial about this as possible, and he was not trying to be a jerk. He wasn't trying to drag her through the mud. He was really trying to communicate with her. And it got reduced to a whole bunch of text messages. And he was even saying in some of his messages, I don't even want to take it here to text, but since we're here, fuck it, but I got to go back to work. He's just a regular man. So, but she just playing games because she bored. All she do surf. Ain't no waves today. So she ain't got nothing to do. She's sitting around texting. Yeah, this man on the set of a movie thing, he trying to get it. Girl, you lost it. So yeah, she tried to play up some certain cards, and the women that fell for that bait, they fell for it. But I'll just ask women out there to just really, take a step back and go, hey, maybe the world doesn't revolve around me. Maybe just maybe there's a moon and a sun, and without one or the other, neither one of these things gonna go down like this. We need both of them in the sky. So it's not just about the sun, and it ain't just about the moon. So ladies, just when a guy is really just trying to voice himself, men have boundaries too, by the way. We can express our boundaries. All women got boundaries. They'll let you know real quick. And so all dudes have boundaries too. And this guy's on seem quite reasonable, realistic. You can live within those boundaries. She chose not to. And I've been in the same boat where I'm sitting there, I learned my lesson until I was blue in the face. I'm just trying to express my boundaries till I'm blue in the face. I learned my lesson not to do that no more. I done told you, you know what it is. Girl, you can write it front to back. You just choosing not to follow it. So I know better now to be dealing with those situations long term, because they're not going to change. People are not going to change. And that's why you got to get them ready-made who already understand what's going on. They got boundaries. They ready to respect yours, and you ready, and vice versa. But this girl here, she clearly wanted to live modern. She still clearly wanted to live young. Girl, have at it. Don't be, hollering sour grapes now. Girl, it's your fault they sour. So, I no remorse for her. Go Team Jonah. That's what I say.
Yeah, none at all. I mean, he gave you the choice and she declined, and that's it. I don't think that that's tantamount to abuse. It's a real sad day when a man is being ridiculed for having boundaries. That to me is the most upsetting part about this entire situation. And furthermore, not only is he being ridiculed for having boundaries, but it's being turned salaciously into him being an abuser.
That's a strong word.
I don't get that. But this is the result of, at this point, maybe 2 generations or so of vagina being overvalued.
Yes.
To the point where women are just running roughshod and doing whatever the fuck they want. And when they're held to account for it, there must be some aspect of victimhood attached to it. So he had to have been abusing me, and that's why it didn't work out. Not that I didn't want to acquiesce to what it was that would make him happy within a relationship situation, but because he was abusing me, and that's the most upsetting part to me, honestly. But yeah, I mean, through the mind control and media, music, movies, all that, just like the real economy, vagina economy is at an all-time high when it comes to inflation. You paying the price of a $1 million house on 4 acres of land for a 2-2 apartment with an inefficiency with a Ranger. That's how inflated the price of vagina has become. It's sad, but if I am going to be reasonable, I do think men bear a lot of responsibility.
Yes, they do.
For this being the present state of affairs.
Yes, they do.
And I think it's kudos to Jonah Hill for, at least in this situation, not allowing the market of vagina inflation to bully him into succumbing to this ridiculous dynamic where he is not he would be afraid to live by his code and his principles and express what his boundaries are. So like I said, I hope that he comes out of this situation unscathed, because it's ridiculous. And this woman is whatever she got going on with her surfer dudes and all of that kind of stuff, she can have it. Like Jonah said, because he gave her a choice and she chose. That's not abuse, people. It's not. It's ridiculous. It's stupid.
People typically don't give you a choice in abuse.
Right. That's the definition of abuse. Is something being done to you physically or emotionally against your will. That's the dictionary definition of this stuff. I don't know where we've gone with this, bro. But theme of the channel. Sign of the times, man. Hey, this is where we're at.
Yeah, and keep your boundaries, fellas. Don't let these women bully you into being some cuck 22.
Yes.
And I was last thing I'll say. And ladies in the comment section, please let us know. I mean, are we tripping right now? Or is this more of a nuanced conversation? If so, please let us know down below. Seriously,
Yeah.
because I really want to know what y'all have to say about this topic and the Keke one too. So
Yeah.
let us know what's going on, right? Please.
Yeah, I'm intrigued, man. I just think when you're ideologically aligned with a person, it's not gonna feel like work. And I think with Jonah, it felt like work. And when it feels like work, go the other way. Just like when when a woman is being indifferent towards you, stop trying to make her act in a design manner. Just go the other way. Don't let it feel like work because you have actual work to do. So we don't need 3 jobs out here. We already got 2. So
And
you know,
if she wants you, it's like ants on a lollipop on the concrete, bro. They just come swarming, bro.
yeah, it's
You
gonna
don't
be
you don't
yeah.
you don't have to go find that. They come find you, bro. So,
Right. It will not feel like work. So friend of the channel, baby, Stephen A. Smith. So Stephen A. Smith wants his critics to know that they can kiss his ass. So Stephen A. Smith, anybody who follows sports media, sports commentary, ESPN, and all of that kind of stuff, are probably aware. I think this was now a couple weeks ago. ESPN laid off a lot of high-profile people.
right.
They got rid of Keyshawn Johnson. They got rid of Max Kellerman. They got rid of Jeff Van Gundy. They got rid of Susie Colbert. Susie Colbert was Todd McShay. Yeah, that's another one they got rid of. I don't even know what College Game Day is going to look like because McShay's gone. The Bear left last year. I don't even know, Lee Corso is part-time because, he's aged, so it is what it is. I don't even know what that show is going to look like. I might start watching Big Noon Kickoff on Fox.
That's crazy, bro.
And College Game Day has always been the biggest deal in the fall on Saturdays.
Yeah.
But and they got rid of Susie Colbert. Susie Colbert did the Monday Night Football show.
That's right.
And so people who've been there she was there for over 20 years. Keyshawn been there for a long time. Max Kellerman, another one they got rid of. He was there for years and years. Jeff Van Gundy called NBA Finals games for years and years, gone.
Yeah.
And so people are like, damn, they got rid of all of these people on ESPN. Why they ain't fire you, Stephen A. Smith? And so Stephen A. Smith feels some type of way about the fact that people are questioning why he wasn't let go. Stephen A. Smith is one of the more higher paid people on ESPN. He makes a ton of money. Stephen A. Smith is a very rich man. But he has a message for everybody who feels as though he should have been given the axe with everybody else who was fired. He feels like they need to kiss his ass.
Damn.
So this one here, this says Stephen A. Smith tells haters to kiss my ass. A lot has been made about the recent talent cuts made by ESPN. It's the latest cost-saving measure made by Disney after they made a paltry $82 billion last year. In a similar move, National Geographic, which Disney also owns, fired its entire writing staff and will move to a digital-only production. That's crazy.
Wow.
However, for many sports fans, the ESPN cuts ran especially deep. Not only did engaging and beloved contributors like Jalen Rose and Keyshawn Johnson get the axe, but the company also laid off some true legacy stars. Max Kellerman had been with ESPN since 1998. For example, the aforementioned Johnson was laid off after 15 years with the broadcaster. Obviously, a few big names escaped this round of layoffs. Pat McAfee, who will join ESPN this fall, received a large amount of criticism for officially signing his massive contract with the company in the wake of the layoffs. Meanwhile, Stephen A. Smith also remains at the company. Smith is somewhat of a divisive figure for many, building his brand as a talking head. Many see him simply as a hot take factory, whose job it is to boost ESPN's engagement. However, Smith is also a diligent and insightful journalist who usually has a reason behind whatever wild thing he is saying on First Take that day. However, in true Stephen A. Smith fashion, Smith took to the Stephen A. Smith show to address people who wished he had been laid off. So I'll just go ahead and play.
Let me address something.
We'll just go ahead and play this, and I'll let Stephen A. Smith speak for himself.
For the state. I'm talking about them. How come y'all didn't bring them up? But me, who's been number one, who's got the top, let me address something to some of the haters out there about me. Y'all can kiss my ass twice. I'm talking in the industry who sat up there and said, why isn't Stephen A gone? Ladies and gentlemen, we got a few people at ESPN getting paid more than me. They don't have the number one show. They don't have the top ratings. They don't generate more revenue. How come y'all didn't bring their names up? And by the way, none of them are black. How come you didn't bring their names up? I wonder why. I'm talking to those folks, the critics in the media, or the wannabe medias with the blogosphere and the websites that never went through the terrain of being official members of the fourth estate. I'm talking about them. How come y'all didn't bring them up? But me, who's been number one, who's got the top rated show, who, by the way, is an executive producer on that top rated show, my name comes up.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
So get at him, Stephen A. Stephen A. is saying, man, why you ain't calling other people out? Why y'all calling me out? And I'm putting this work in over here at ESPN. So, yeah, people are wondering why Stephen A. Smith didn't get laid off. And he thinks that his haters need to kiss his ass. Do you think Stephen A. Smith's haters need to kiss his ass?
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody, coming from the Stephen A. Smith's angle, I mean, yeah, I mean, for everybody that has haters, those haters can kiss their ass. So if Stephen A. Smith has haters, yeah, they should kiss his ass. So twice. So I agree with him from that. As you see, bro, like whenever these things go down, bro, I be agreeing with people, but I don't be agreeing with them. I agree with them in their own little world because it worked for them in their own little world. It makes them function, but the real world where everybody else lives in, it may not always be the same. So from his angle, yeah, I can see why he wants people to do that. But me living in the real world is you go, whoa, hey, wait a second. Jeff Van Gundy, Todd McShay, and you're naming big names, names that's like, hey, these are staples to the ESPN. I've seen these people for 20 plus years. Like, what's this? So naturally you go, well, they're letting off big names. Well, why didn't they let Stephen A go? I think it's a fair question to ask. Well, what's the criteria of this? Is it based off salary? Is it based off tenure? Is it based off, what is this? What is this based off? Why is he still there, but other people are gone? So I think it's a fair question to ask, because guess what? I asked the same question. When I heard Max was gone, because I love Max.
Yeah.
So I heard Max was gone. I was like, whoa, y'all not just, I thought they was just taking a show off the air. I was like, man, that show needed to go. That show was whack. But you fired him? So I'm like, okay, well, so it's not I thought it was letting him go, like, because you fired, hey, look, I ain't hating on Keyshawn Johnson, but if you fire Keyshawn Johnson, if you fire Kendrick Perkins, I'd be like, hey, it's with the game, bro. Go with the game. But you find people like Max, who's articulate and good at his job. I mean, he can carry any show. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to figure that out. So the natural question comes up of, okay, well, is Stephen A. Smith, and even Stephen A. Smith said it on his own pod, like not too long after the firing, saying that he might be next. He might be on the chopping block. So it's a fair question to ask. Okay, bro, well, why not you? So, and I'm a black person. So for him to even be saying, the only black person, like, okay, bro, this ain't a race thing, bro. People just really asking. You're the biggest name. You're the biggest name out there. And they got rid of other big names. So is this big name next? Or are they keeping him? I think it's a fair question. So I have more, but how about you, bro? Do you feel like Stephen A. Smith here's got a point? Or do you think that I don't know, he's looking a little bit too much into this?
I don't like the fact that he said they're not black. I don't like that. That to me struck me as race baiting, because like they didn't fire you and you are black.
Right.
If any aspect of this had to do with race, then you would have gotten let go, but they kept you and they fired a bunch of white people.
Right.
So I didn't like him doing that because Susie Colbert's white, Todd McShay's white, Max Kellerman's white, Jeff Van Gundy's white. They fired a gang of white people. So I didn't like that. That struck me as race baiting. He was channeling his inner Jamel Hill there. But moreover, Stephen A. Smith absolutely 100% has a point. Not only do fans wondering whether he should have been fired need to kiss his ass, but the media as well, wondering why he didn't get fired needs to kiss his ass. The fact of the matter is this: if people really cared enough, see, like I am of the belief that First Take has never been the same since they moved Max Kellerman out of there.
Mhm.
Now, Stephen A. Smith believes that the show is better because ratings. We got the best ratings, blah, blah, blah. The quality of that show has plummeted since they moved Max Kellerman out of there. They used to actually have nuanced, intelligent debates when Kellerman was there because Kellerman's a smart guy. But Stephen A. Smith wanting to continue to, I don't know what because he's publicly stated that he played a direct hand in them moving on from Max Kellerman because he wanted to do the current format, which is him, and then every day there's a different person. That was his idea, allegedly. So he wanted to do this, and it was a lot of this was his decision to do that. But to me, the quality of the show drastically dissipated because it went from smart conversation to flame-throwing hot takes and people yelling all over the damn place. And listen, if that's your brand of sports show, then have at it. It ain't mine. Give me Max Kellerman before you give me Kendrick Perkins. Give me Max Kellerman before you give me what's his name? Mad Dog Russo.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Jeez.
give me Kellerman before you give me that guy. Give me Kellerman before you give me somebody like Jay Williams, who just capes for. All Jay Williams does is cape for athletes on every episode that he's on there. He's never critical. Jay Williams is the sports equivalent of Charlamagne and DJ Envy. Never a critical thing to say about any athlete. It's always defending the athlete, defending Kyrie Irving, defending Kevin Durant, defending LeBron. Even when they do something dumb, here's Jay Williams with the defense. Always nothing critical to say. To a certain extent, JJ Redick, kind of the same, although JJ Redick has more of a nerve to be critical than Jay Williams, who's just never critical ever. So give me a compelling person who's smart like Kellerman. You got rid of him. You made the show worse. So the reason why I bring that up is because despite that taking place and despite the quality of First Take going down, in my opinion, Stephen A. Smith references this readily whenever he gets the chance, and I'm pretty sure you can look up these numbers. It's probably all public domain. The ratings for First Take continue to be amongst the highest of any show of that kind, especially in that time slot. So somebody likes it, even though the quality of the show sucks. Somebody's a fan of it. People out there watching it. So all of this hoopla going on in the media about what Stephen A. Smith has done to sports media and why it's not at least a question that should be broached as to whether he should have been laid off. For what? You're still watching stuff. You're still consuming his content. First Take is still the most watched show on ESPN, for whatever that's worth, because the ratings have tanked. But for whatever that's worth, ESPN First Take is still watched by more people than any other show on ESPN. So yeah, you need to kiss his ass, because if you really had a big problem with it, you wouldn't be watching it. You wouldn't be watching it. You would have done like me and stopped watching First Take when they got rid of Max Kellerman. And it sucks what happened to him in particular, because I agree, they moved him to that show that they had him on, which is just
Jay Will and Keyshawn Johnson. That was disgusting.
Yeah. Just what are you doing? So you go from Mike and Mike in the morning to that monstrosity. Who wants to listen to that? Like, that wasn't good programming. It wasn't. It wasn't. First Take seems to be the only programming on ESPN, along with NFL Live. But that's because NFL is king. It don't matter how bad a show is. If it's NFL, you're going to get a draw because NFL just runs everything. But ESPN outside of First Take outside of NFL Live seems to be the only show that's impervious to poor quality. It doesn't seem to matter how bad the show becomes, people still gonna watch. And if the ratings are as high as they are, who is anybody to question whether Stephen A. Smith should have been fired or not? Now, I'm not sitting up here saying the question isn't worth asking. But I'm also somebody who stopped watching First Take when they got rid of Kellerman. All y'all out there in the media complaining or at least saying, why ain't Stephen A. Smith get fired? I guarantee at least a decent amount of those people still watch First Take. You still watch it.
Yeah.
So, who are you to question that? So Stephen A. Smith has a point. You do need to kiss his ass, because if you felt some type of way about him not getting fired, you wouldn't be watching the show still, and y'all still watch it. So I think from that standpoint, he's right. I think people need to get off their high horse, and people need to stop being hypocrites. Lead with your wallets. If you don't like what a company does, if you don't like what the NFL does, stop watching, stop going to games, stop buying tickets. I say this all the time. If you don't like what ESPN is doing, if you don't like what First Take has become, stop watching the show. If you're going to keep watching the show, you cannot question why Stephen A. Smith ain't get fired. You just can't. You don't have the grounds to say that. You don't. Even if you think you do, I'm here to tell you, you don't. So I think Stephen A. has a point. I'm not necessarily a Stephen A. apologist. First Take, to me, isn't very watchable unless they have smart people on there from time to time. That's not to cast any aspersions on him. He did what he felt needed to be done for the longevity of that show's survival. But I took my viewership elsewhere. And I think anyone who wants to question why Stephen A. Smith should have been laid off with the rest of those people should do the same.
Yeah, I hear that. And I think from mine, because my angle was more or less trying to figure out, like, why not him? And yeah, number one rated show and all this other stuff, but I mean, they're just doing anything. So mine's was, I felt like mine's was a natural. Hey man, well, what is that? What's going on? They're letting go. They're revamping is what they're doing, and they can call this layoffs. They can label this whatever they want. They're revamping. They're doing a rebrand. Now, are they going to try to bring people in for lesser salaries to try to fill some of these gaps, or are they going to do what most jobs are doing, and they're trying to make people do more work? Nope. Now you just got two shows to do now, because they was already doing that. Stephen A. Smith's got a radio show. He do this. He got that. I mean, they go Stephen A. Go. Why would they get rid of that hog? You know what I'm saying? And of course, there's other people getting paid more than him. But how many more people do more work than this man? So right, boy, go. And so Stephen A's like, y'all know how much bending over I had to do. So you guys can kiss my ass. So yeah, this guy. So who knows what they're gonna do? So if they do the new model where they bring in a whole bunch of people for the cheap, influencer type of people who know nothing about sports, this is what they don't want educated people. Period. They don't even want people educated on sports. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And so it done went all the way. Like the school system and all that stuff. I done gave up on that. College, I done gave up on that. I gave up on them trying to really educate people because they don't have to do it like how they do it. And that's just a whole Ponzi scheme. But I just said, leave my sports alone. That's what I said. Leave my sports alone. Now they're bleeding into my sports. They're giving me people like Malika Andrews, and they're telling me that I should like it. They're trying to be so diverse. They're being so diverse that it's just nothing but women on the panel. I'm like, okay, look, all right, I get it. All right, I'm all for diversity and inclusion myself. All right, but that panel's not diverse. It's just women. And that I'm hearing, I'm like, well, what am I watching? Am I watching Lifetime or ESPN or what a misogynist? What am I watching? Let me know. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, all right, maybe I'll give McNutt a try here. I'm sitting here listening to McNutt. She's just hating on my heat. These aren't takes. You're just a hater. And so I'm sitting here watching this stuff. ESPN, I don't know who they're going to bring in, but I can guarantee you not a TikToker, but a TikTok, Insta, Facer, Snapchatter type of analyst.
Hey man, don't put it past them to bring in an actual TikToker.
Yeah,
Don't put it
influencer.
past them. Yeah,
Why
an
not?
influencer. Yeah,
Why not? Don't know a
Yeah.
lick about sports. Basically treating it like the weather. Because you'll see those weather girls out there. That girl don't know meteorology. She don't know the difference between a cumulus and a whatever. She just she just out here, okay, and a storm front that way, y'all. And while she wearing her tight red dress. And that's all they're gonna have out there doing our sports. That's what they got Malika Andrews doing. She don't know nothing about sports. She's just a weather girl. And so she out there just rah, 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 throw black man under the bus. Rah, 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 rah. Oh, did you know he got arrested for rah, 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 rah. Hey, girl, that was back in 2011. Why you bringing up his arrest in 2011? No, I'm just make sure the crowd knows. And so when ESPN is doing this weirdo stuff, yeah, fellas, we have to leave with our wallets. Now, I've been got off the box. I don't watch TV no more. Like that, like cable operation, you gonna count my ratings. But if you guys are out there, please, I get it. It's part of your routine, but they're trying to shift what you know and love. And I'm telling you, this rebranding that they're gonna have for all of this new stuff, I'm telling you, it's gonna be super cringe, and we're all gonna hate it. So we really have to treat this like how we're treating Disney movies, because they're coming out with, their rebrand form of woke movies, and they're just ruining everything. So they just came over into the sports world and said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna mess up your sports too, why don't you? You better love it." So I say no. So I am in the mindset of thinking that they're gonna keep Stephen A around for a little bit, but I'm really starting to think these budget cuts, I think they're trying to find a format of just plug and play people, where they're not paying these 10-year people for decades anymore, unless they're really a superior talent. But even then, I think they're trying to come up with some type of formula where they don't need talent no more. They just plug people in, and we all supposed to digest it and love it. So I say, if ESPN is running your football games, your basketball games, your team playing, go watch that game. But when it comes to because there ain't nothing you can do about that. They got media rights for years on that. But when it comes to these TV shows, I think we should really, turn some stuff off.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you right now, they're not going to give us stuff that we want to watch. That's for damn sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's if people really cared about smart sports television, or at least good quality sports television, then they wouldn't, like, Bomani Jones wouldn't have gotten let go. Like, Bomani Jones wouldn't have left ESPN, because ESPN would have saw the value in keeping him around. They would have kept him around, but they let him go because they saw no value in him, because they feel like nobody really cares for that kind of level of insight. They would have kept Dan Le Batard around. Right. They wouldn't have let Colin Cowherd go out west.
Right.
All of these people who were smart and great at what they do, who aren't there anymore, and now that company, quite frankly, as far as I'm concerned, is a shell of itself from a content standpoint. Kellerman, they wouldn't have let go. And who else? Michael Smith, they wouldn't have let go. Even Jamel. And look, I'm not the biggest Jamel Hill fan in the world, because when she would get on the race baiting and all of that kind of stuff, I just kind of wanted to stick a pin in my eardrum. But she was nevertheless, she's nevertheless smart and insightful, intelligent, and when she gave sports takes, they were laced with context and nuance. Not Kendrick Perkins, let's go to the barbecue stuff. Not lazy, look at these numbers, look at these stats, this guy's top 5 in the league. Not, oh, this guy's a bona fide MVP candidate. All of that BS that they do now, that wasn't happening 4 or 5 years ago, back in 2016, 2017, when they had all of those people on ESPN. So, and even beyond ESPN, if people cared about that kind of programming, Bomani Jones' show on HBO wouldn't have gotten canceled. HBO would have kept that show. And his show on HBO got canceled. So I just kind of feel like the people don't want that. They just want to reserve the right to complain about the absence of it, which is what a lot of people are, is walking vessels of hypocrisy oftentimes. And so, until people cease to be walking vessels of hypocrisy, I think Stephen A. Smith has a point. Kiss his ass, and kiss the ass of anybody else who is in his position who didn't get let go, who is now dealing with people wondering why he or she didn't get let go. So it is what it is.
Yeah, and I'll just say again, man, fellas, I don't know what we're gonna do. They forcing us to sports is my only outlet, dog. That's why I said y'all can have, every week I'm on here talking about mind control, crazy stuff, blah 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 blah. I know this is a crazy world, man, but my only guilty pleasure is sports. I just want to watch good sports talks. I want to watch good games with good commentators, good on sideline reporting, and watch a good game. And that's it. And they're trying to ruin that. So stay over there in sport and music with your AI bots and your thought. Stay out there. Leave my sports alone. Keep y'all movies. I don't care. Leave my sports alone. And they're trying to ruin it. So I already see this as step one. I see this as step one of the most driest, freaking Kendrick Perkins-esque. I'm trying to keep throwing under the bus, but it was funny as a joke. One piece segment. Oh, hey, Kendrick Perkins coming in. A little comic relief. I don't want to see him on every topic. Hey, what are you talking about? He doesn't even know what he's talking about. So I'm over all of this stuff, but they're going to force feed it. So maybe I should get off my guilty pleasures. Maybe I shouldn't have my sweets before I go to sleep. All right. Maybe this is life telling me that, hey, Dogon, give it up, dude. But in the meantime, I'm shifting my attention to more Fox stuff, because ESPN is it's in the toilet. To me, it's already in the toilet.
It is absolutely in the toilet. Yeah,
I don't fuck with it no more. So
yeah, I've been I've been moved on to Fox.
Yeah.
All of the shows on Fox are better than the shows on ESPN. All of them. The only thing that ESPN still had, in my opinion, was College Game Day, and who knows what that's going to look like. So I don't know, and I think I don't think it's a coincidence that a lot of the people who used to work for ESPN who are now on Fox are smart people who don't do dumb stuff or say dumb stuff.
Mhm.
I don't think that's a coincidence. And I don't believe in coincidence. And also, it's not a coincidence that a lot of those people tend to lean conservative in terms of some of their opinions. So feast on that. But for whatever it's worth, I'm Team Stephen A. here. Y'all can't kiss his ass, because if you really had a problem with it, you wouldn't be watching the stuff, and you still watch it. So leave that man alone and let him continue to rake in them checks, because he is a cash cow, literally and figuratively. They ride him like a Montana mule.
Yeah,
So,
I'm telling you, boy.
yeah.
And for whatever it's worth, the guy is entertainment. So I can't deal with all the yelling stuff, but he is entertained. He's entertainment. And so you throw Stephen A anywhere, people are going to be watching. So you got to get a man his credit when it comes to that. But, there's some other things that I may have issues with that he may have done in his past, but, nobody's perfect. But in this situation, I feel where he's coming from. And those people can't kiss his ass, I would say.
Yeah, they can. They can. Good luck, Stephen A. Keep making that money, bro.
Stephen A.
All right, that'll do it for tonight's stream, man. Good stuff. Thanks you to everyone who tuned in. We had a few viewers tuning in to the stream tonight. Thank you very much. To anybody who has not already done so, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. Let us know what you think about what we do over here on this channel, over here in this little corner of the YouTube internet. Thank you for supporting this logical content. You can find me on Instagram at JVWins, JVWINS. Conscious Approach is also available on Instagram at Con Approach, CONAPPROACH. We also upload all this content to a Facebook page curated for Conscious Approach. So if you happen to be watching this video over on that platform, go ahead and follow the page, like the page, leave a comment, let us know what you think. We certainly appreciate you supporting this logical content. We do this each and every week. Also, the individual video uploads, go ahead and hit the like button there. If you are watching this as a standalone and you haven't done so, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, we are going to catch you on the next video, and we certainly appreciate you joining us today for some good, lighthearted, wonderful, logical content.
Yeah. And the name is Dogon SS, and you can find me on Instagram at Dogon_SS and on YouTube at Dogon SS. Also, Hurricane Dogon here on YouTube's. And as I say on every pod, guys, don't be too high, don't be too low. Keep it calm, keep it chill, keep it player, and don't let anybody get you off your pivot. All right. So until the next time, guys, we'll catch y'all on the flip side. Skrr.
That's right. We signing off, man. Dame to the Heat. Let's get it.
Dang to the Heat. Go Heat.
Peace.
Go Rattlers. Go Rattlers.
Oh.
Heat.